Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Journal. In today's episode, I take a drive out to inland San Diego near the quaint historic mining town of Julian, California to visit the Volcan Mountain Wilderness Preserve. The Volcan Mountain Wilderness Preserve offers approximately 2,900 acres of mixed pine forest. Hike to the summit for spectacular views from the desert all the way to the coast. This roughly 5-mile round-trip hike is considered moderately difficult with some steep inclines. The main trail to the summit, more like a fire road, is open for hikers, bikers, and equestrians. I'll be taking this trail up the mountain. The single-track Five Oaks Trail parallels the main trail for most of its duration and is open only to hikers. The Five Oaks Trail winds its way around the mountainside through a series of switchbacks, and I'll be taking this trail down the mountain. Who knows what we'll see on today's hike? Studies have recorded over 45 species of mammals, over 150 types of birds, 36 reptiles, 12 amphibians, and an unknown number of insects and other invertebrates. Due to the trail altitude, 4,100 feet where your car is parked along the shoulder of Farmers Road, all the way up to the summit at 5,353 feet, this hike is considered moderately strenuous. Even though it's a short hike, don't underestimate it. It's steep in sections, and I have to admit, I could feel the altitude a little bit being a flatlander living near sea level. I was a little curious on how Volcan Mountain got its name. I just figured it came from ancient volcanic activity, but it turns out not to be the case, as the mountain is predominantly granite. In and around the year 1844, Edward Stokes was the son-in-law of Mexican land grant owner Jose Joaquin Ortega, and he helped manage the ranch. Following the Mexican-American War, the 1848 Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo provided that land grants would indeed be honored. Rancho de Santa Isabel Balcon was awarded to Ortega and Stokes in 1872. It is said by some that if you look at the valley of Santa Isabel from the west to the east, the curvature of the mountain looks somewhat like a balcony, of which the Spanish word is, of course, balcón. On a map dated around 1860, there was also a family living on the mountain at the time by the name of Volcan. Okay, so we still don't know exactly how it got its name, but you get the general idea. Maybe it was a mashup of the two historic names, or somebody just made a mistake while making the map. After leaving the house in Temecula, I drove a little over 50 miles out toward Warner Springs, with what normally are beautiful views across the foothills of Palomar Mountain. Not today. Today, the U.S. Forest Service decided it was the perfect day to conduct a controlled burn. I just drove through an area that said controlled burn, and there's quite a bit of smoke off to the left. It was drifting across the road, and in some parts you can see it's pretty prominent. It's drifting in front of me here in the road. This time of year, the National Forest Service decides this is the perfect time. The humidity level is high, the risk of it getting out of control are a lot lower, and I guess this is just as good a day as any in the winter to have a controlled burn, so that's what they're doing today. Hopefully the visibility won't get any worse than what it is now. As I'm driving out to the trailhead for the Volcan Mountain Preserve. After I cleared the smoke blowing across the highway, I hit some pretty dense fog near Warner Springs. Well, I went from smoke to fog. As I'm driving between Warner Springs and Santa Isabel on the way to Julian, normally off to the right you can see large meadows as you're heading over toward Lake Henshaw, and you can see up the Palomar Divide toward the Hale Telescope and the other telescopes up on top of Palomar Mountain, but I guess not today. Between the smoke and the fog, our visibility is going to be limited, at least down at this end. I think once we get up toward the Volcan Mountain Trailhead we'll be fine, but in the meantime, I'm driving through the fog. Before long, the fog and the smoke had cleared, and I finally saw the pretty foothills and oak trees dotting the slopes. But movement caught my eye just off the highway, a huge flock of turkey. Now, I've seen a few turkeys wandering around the golf course near Warner Springs before, so this wasn't that unusual. But the fact that there were so many of them, it was just nuts. I just had to stop. Well, not only did I finally come out of the fog, but I came across this giant flock turkey. I think this is the most amount of turkeys I've ever seen at one time. And this isn't all of them. There were another 30 over in the other field, and they just walked away. There's a couple of toms that are in heavy strut right now. Let's see if I can get a little closer to my turkey friends here. Well, they wouldn't have been so friendly on Thanksgiving. Never seen so many turkeys before in one place. There's at least 4 or 5 toms, and it continues all the way up the side of the field over there. There's another tom over here in the shade, and there's another flock of like 30 behind me. Wow. And there they go. Within a few minutes, I passed by the historic Mission Santa Isabel and made the turn onto Highway 78 and the road up toward Julian. Turning left on Winola Road, I winded my way to the preserve and parked just off the road on the dirt shoulder across from the San Diego County Sheriff's Department SUV. About 8:30 a.m., I started up the trail to Volcan Mountain. Well, good morning. I'm on the Volcan Mountain Preserve right now, just outside of Julian, California, and I'm just starting up the trail. Parked my Jeep down at the bottom at the trailhead. I worked my way up to the summit of Volcan Mountain, and there's also a side trail called the 5 Oaks Trail. I'm going to take that just for a little different route, maybe coming back. What is that? I think those are turkey vultures. Oh, also just past San Diego County Sheriff Deputy Craig, who was doing a short little hike up here for training. He says he's going to go to Nepal, and he had a fully loaded, pretty big day pack, along with a large camera, and plus his gun, the Sam Brown, and all his tools from work. And talked to him for quite a bit. Super nice guy. If you ever went into Craig, tell him I said hi. What a beautiful entrance to the preserve, huh? Look at this custom work. Looks like they've got a couple of portable toilets here for those who have driven quite a ways to get here. Look at that magnificent work. Very impressive. There's even some iron scroll work as we head in through the gate. Well, that's a pretty ominous informational sign about all the rattlesnakes, but it's good information, especially if you're not familiar with which type is in the area. The Southern Pacific, the red diamond, the speckled, and the sidewinder. Ooh, I'm already out of breath. As a trail definitely takes an uptick in incline. Some gorgeous manzanita to the start of the trail here. All right, well, I'm working my way up the Volcan Mountain Trail in the preserve, and it's just a gorgeous day up here in the mountains. It's always nice in the mountains, but especially today, not a cloud in the sky. And I have to admit, trail is kind of steep. See, there's a trail sign right here. Oh, another ominous warning sign for mountain lions. Let's go check this one out. Well, just when we thought the rattlesnake sign was enough to scare you off the trail, now we got one for mountain lions. I guess more information is better than no information, but it also talks about lifespan of a mountain lion in the wild. Shows you some really good pictures of prints. But in the meantime, we're going to be heading up there through the oaks to the top of Volcan Mountain. And we've only got a few feet past that mountain lion sign, and here's the turnoff for the Five Oaks Trail. It's going to be going up these steps here. Talks about the funding for the Five Oaks Trail, and it looks like it goes that way. We're going to come back this way. All right, well, I got to tell you, I kind of underestimated this trail. This fire road is steep, and there hasn't been any flat spots. So you're going to have to listen to me huff and puff for a bit while I continue this climb. Whew. It's about time to take the sweater off, that's for sure. Now we've come to a rise in the trail, just past the split for the Five Oaks Trail. Now we're heading up 1.2 miles to the summit. Volcan Mountain. Scenic overlook. Go check this out. The little telescope. It looks like a sign that points to various cardinal mountain tops. They're visible from this location. Down below is the town of Julian over there. Well, we're nearing the top of Volcan Mountain. Came across this little side path. Heads over to the side. I'm going to go check this out. Earlier there were two very large military jets that flew over along with an F-16 or F-18. So we're going to go check this out. As you look down into Anza-Borrego, way off in the distance, you can see the Salton Sea down there. All right, it's a little breezy up here. This is another informational sign that gives us some of the prominent viewpoints from this location. It's got San Jacinto on the left, and Toro and Santa Rosa Mountain and Whale Peak, and the direction toward Glamis down into the Scissors Crossing down in Anza-Borrego Desert State Park, along with the Salton Sea way off in the distance. There's a tremendous view from up here. Here's one of the jets way off in the distance though. Well, we're nearing the top of Volcan Mountain here. We gotta go around this loop to the actual summit, but we got tremendous views from here looking down off to the left toward the Salton Sea. A couple of military fighter jets flew over, but they were too far away to really get them on video. Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll swing by this way. In the meantime, we're gonna do this loop around the top of Volcan Mountain. Well, I made it up the top of Volcan Mountain here in inland San Diego near Julian, and I met a young guy named Damon and his dog Monita. We hiked up together up here at the top of Volcan Mountain. We went around the little loop trail, and we saw the old radio beacon that dates back in the 1940s. It's not used anymore, but it's still there. Lots of informational signs along this trail, signs for mountain lions and rattlesnakes and birds of prey just up here. Phenomenal views up here as well. Just about 15 minutes ago, we had a couple of big, huge military jets fly off in the distance over Anza-Borrego. We've also had some fighter jets doing loops, and sometimes you can hear them in the background. But anyway, I made it to the summit. It's only 11:30, so I'm going to take a break up here. I'm going to have lunch. I brought my Trangia stove, and I'm going to heat up some water and make some coffee and have some top ramen. And it's a little chilly in the shade. I was going to sit up over there, and I decided to come over here instead. It's 48 over in the sun, and it's probably chillier in the shade, so I feel a little better over here. There's a little bit of a breeze. I had to put my sweater back on. So anyway, so I'm going to take a few minutes here and enjoy my coffee and my top ramen and my phenomenal views overlooking all of Anza-Borrego and the top of Volcan Mountain here in inland San Diego. Well, I've got my Trangia stove going here. I've got some water cooking in here. It's not quite at a rolling boil, but it's getting close. In a little bit here, I'm going to make some of this Kuyu coffee with the mug that comes with it. I bought this about Christmas time. So I'm going to have some hot coffee and enjoy some shrimp flavored top ramen here at the top of Volcan Mountain. Well, not quite at a rolling boil, but it's close. This is a pour-over coffee. Don't want to pour too much, I'll overflow the top here. I'll get you a better look at what this looks like here. Well, I'm having my Kuju Base Camp Blend coffee up here on top of Volcan Summit. Summit is just to my left. Salton Sea is behind me. There's a lot of military aircraft around here, I noticed. Helicopter flying over there, big jets over here. A lot of activity over Julian. Didn't realize it was this popular. Looks like one of the helicopters is flying down low into the canyon down there toward Anza-Borrego. Maybe he'll come back this way. Well, I'm finally getting to eat my lunch up here on the top of Volcan Mountain in inland San Diego near Julian. It's, in fact, right on the other side of this hill you can look down into the town. It's been a good hike. It's only about 2.5 miles from the trailhead to the summit, but it's got its moments. It's pretty steep. It's a fire road for the most part, going up the Volcan Mountain Road. On the way back, we're going to go down the trail a ways, and we're going to turn left to go down the Five Oaks Trail, more of a meandering single track. And that's going to give us some different viewpoints for the way back. So a lot of times I don't shoot video going back because it's the same thing we've already shot on the way up, but we're going to have a different view on the way back. So I'll take some shots along the Five Oaks Trail on the way back. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy these views up here in Julian. It's just gorgeous up here. I was over in the shade earlier, and it was actually chilly. It was in the upper 40s, and the breeze was blowing. I was getting cold, so I had to put the sweater back on. But now the wind has stopped, so very, very slight perceptible breeze up here, and it's actually really nice. There's not a cloud in the sky, maybe one or two little tiny ones, and that's about it. Only ran into a few other people on the trail. A couple of guys came up, passed us, did a loop and headed down. Another man and woman just walked by me a few minutes ago, and that's it. It's a pretty deserted place. Gotta keep this riding up on me. But anyway, thanks for joining me today on this adventure. If you don't get a chance to finish the rest of the video hiking out the Five Oaks Trail, be sure and stay tuned for another episode of the journal. It'll be coming up in a few weeks. Alrighty, take care. I gotta eat my top ramen before it gets cold. And I worked my way back to this interesting foundation and a chimney. And here's where it talks about it was on the short list of locations for a placement of the Hubble telescope. I also noticed on the way up here there's quite a few cedar trees up here along the trail. Mainly just in this one little pocket, but they are pretty. There's also some magnificent oak trees along the trail. Looks like there's some smaller cypress trees, or cedars, cedars, that look like they'll be around for years to come as I'm working my way down toward the Five Oaks Trail. Well, looks like I've worked my way back to the Five Oaks Trail junction. It's going to go off to my left. Looks like there's a family of kids coming down the trail. Good for them. Out on a nice sunny day. I'll see them here in a second. You know, just when I headed off the Five Oaks Trail, I thought I was heading downhill back to the car. It turns out I got to go up this steep uphill to get to the top of this little lookout. But you know what? It's worth it because you can't really tell because it's gigantic oak trees in front of me, but you've got a terrific view down the canyon, down the Banner Grade, overlooking the town of Julian. And looks like they've got some scenic views on this trail for sure. It looks like a few places to sit in the shade to catch your breath on your way up here. It's a view looking northwest from the Five Oaks Trail, overlooking some of the farmland and vineyards. Looks like they're putting quite a few vineyards in down here. Also, there's quite a few aircraft flying over. There's usually 2 or 3 in the view at any one time. And some other things that I noticed over here on the right, that peak over there, there's some microwave, looks like towers. And off to the left, way off in the distance, is a tiny little white, looks like a pyramid. I don't know if that's a beacon or what that is. It sure is pretty down here. Well, we made it. We headed up the Volcan Mountain Trail, made it up to the top, and had some lunch up there. It was very nice, a little breezy and chilly, but it felt good. And now in the afternoon, as we're heading, I don't know, not even a quarter mile, a couple hundred yards to the car. It'll be a total of about a 5-mile day. It's pretty easy as far as day hikes go, but it was definitely scenic. Had some great views, saw some military jets and what could have been a P-52. You know, some days you have good days and bad days with the camera. Today was just a bad day. I had that bomber fly right over the top of me. Zoomed in, what I thought was zoomed in. Took the video. Didn't realize until afterward I was on night mode, so the whole scene was solid white. Can't see anything. Another couple of clips. The mic came unplugged. Had no audio. Just kind of a bummer day for video work. But the hike was spectacular. Ended up being a little warmer on the way down the hill than I thought. I could have taken the sweater off a long time ago. But I thought, well, I'm heading down. You know, I get in the shade, it'll feel good. I'm actually hot right now, so. Anyway, on the way out of town, we're gonna pull over and I'm gonna stop at Dudley's and get us some fresh baked bread. And I don't know, maybe get us a Dutch apple, Julian apple pie. How's that, huh? Anyway, that'll conclude this episode of the Journal. The Volcan Mountain Preserve out here in Julian near San Diego. Anyway, I'll catch you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye. Well, since I'm in Julian, I might as well stop off and get a pie at the Julian Pie Company. So I'm gonna get me maybe a Dutch apple or something. Well, thanks for watching this episode of the Journal, the Volcan Mountain Wilderness Preserve. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button to get notifications of other hiking adventures as I post them. With restrictions starting to lift from the coronavirus, hopefully we'll get the chance to get out a little more and explore some amazing trails and peaks in Southern California. Oh, and by the way, if you happen to run into Damon and his Siberian Monita along the trail, tell him I said hi. And just in case you were wondering, Monita means a little monkey in Spanish. Alrighty, take care. Bye-bye.